Hi everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from FUSION15 in New Orleans. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with Tristan Boot.
Hi, Kirsty.
Carlos Casanova.
Hello, Kirsty.
And welcome to Phyllis Drucker from Linium.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you here, Phyllis.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, we've been trying for a while.
I know.
We've struggled to get you on, so I'm really pleased we've managed to do it this time.
Absolutely.
So, Phyllis, great to catch up again. It's been a number of years, I think, since we spoke as well. And we were sort of just having a bit of a chat earlier about sort of some of the things that we've sort of seen happening. And balance in ITSM seems to be an issue these days. You know, and how much, like process, for instance, you know, how much process is too much process, those kind of things. Have you got some?
How much is enough?
Yeah,
Finding balance.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things that I always think about is change management. Is it the right size change management? How much is too much?
Yeah.
And really, is change management hindering the business or helping the business? So if you look back at the roots, ITSM would say, or ITIL would say, you need to protect the environment from unintended consequence of change. But people look at that as, I have to make sure every last I is dotted, every last T is crossed. The documentation must be perfect.
Right.
The numbering on the documentation must be perfect. And iterations back and forth over a period of weeks, did that protect the business from an unintended consequence, or did it actually stop the business from getting what they needed at the long end?
Yeah, and it does. A bad change management process, it's exactly what it does, isn't it? It stops the business from innovating. It stops them from achieving what they're trying to achieve.
I don't know. I don't know that it would stop them from innovating.
It slows down.
Well, no, I think they get very innovative in circumventing.
Yeah, that's probably the
because that's
way.
at some point in time, because you know, again, we say different things, right? So it's to one group, you have to go get this done, and the other group is like, stop anything from ever happening. Well, guess what? Sooner or later, I'm going to find a way around getting it done.
And that's when the risk comes back.
Exactly. So you're adding more risk by trying to be too stringent in not an intelligent way, I guess is where the problem.
Well, and I find a lot of organizations don't properly leverage standard changes, don't understand where does DevOps fit in.
Right.
Is it no change management process?
Right.
Or is it a change management process that says your development and deployment methods are significantly good enough or stringent enough that we understand that you can release when you need to release, and all you need to do is track what you're releasing, and that's all we care about.
Right.
Whereas others might try to stop that type of development and keep it back. But I do think that there's a lot to be said for the organizations that go into analysis to stop innovation.
Right. Yeah, it's. I mean, we've seen it. You know, it's trying to find that balance and getting out of the deployment ticketing mentality and into what are you doing. And if you show, in my opinion, if you show a trend and a pattern of successfully deploying stuff, you know, you've gone through your, you worked with the security folks, that's, stable. You went through your full battery of testing, your systems, your integration, your UAT, and you have a history of deploying without major issues and whatnot. I mean, some things are always going to come up. There's no doubt about that. Well, you know what? The governance around you is already embedded in you. So why do we need, I mean, yes, notification, make sure everybody knows what's going on just in case something does go wrong. But why should that group be held to the same level of annoyance, I won't say rigor, right? As another group that's like, oh, you know what, we're just kind of flying. It's like, no, that one, you know what, even on a small thing, they should have a different level of rigor.
That's right.
And you know what, I was recently at a client and I was just thrilled. I was like, yeah, go, go, go. They actually look at their history of changes to see what changes are being brought through the full process that should be nominated to be made into a standard change. So they're really looking at the numbers and looking at the success factors and improving their process by shortcutting it.
Sure.
I think a lot of it's got to do with respect, actually respecting the business and respecting what they're trying to do. If you have that feeling of respect in IT, then you're not going to do stuff that's going to endanger the business.
And it's understanding that, it's not all about that process. You've got the, a CAB meeting, for instance, that people go to, and all it is stamping the thing. That meeting, a standard CAB agenda with like you said, going back, reviewing changes, looking at what's coming up, not necessarily rubber stamping them, but saying, right, we know those are coming, so that goes into the risk profile. Looking for CSI opportunities, all that kind of stuff. That's what people aren't doing. They're focusing on the one bit of the.
We are here to stop that from going forward unless you tell us you did everything X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, as soon as you set that tone, guess what? It's confrontational.
Yeah.
And once it's confrontational, as humans, we try and avoid confrontation.
You try and back out. So that's when you try and do it through,
Skirt it.
through a
It's
back
like,
door.
it's really four standard changes that together really aren't the standard, but if I kind of do,
just massage it a little bit, it can squeeze in there. And that's where risk comes in. That's where mistakes happen.
But then at the end of the day, is IT just using ITIL and other service management frameworks to justify the way they've always done business? Or are they using it to approve and align with the business and understand what the business they're in? You know, you either care about what the business is doing and you're going to do everything you can to support the business, or you become very smart at using process to avoid doing the things you don't feel like doing.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's well intentioned. You know, I don't think there's a lot of maliciousness in it, but I mean, sometimes it's sort of almost like a blind well intention.
Yeah, a blind, exactly.
You know, and it's like, no, we need to protect the business, and we don't really know what that means. So you know what? We'll just stop everything.
Yes.
It's like, well, for some businesses especially, that could be the end of. That could actually shut down the business.
Yeah.
Or we're just so overworked that anything new is just more work.
Yeah.
And if I could avoid it and keep it out, I could avoid having to support it. I don't have to do as much work.
Right.
And just if they would hire 5 more people, maybe I
then
could get
maybe
this
we
done.
could do it. Yeah.
Yes, I see some of that.
Yeah,
just-
they'll work harder or work smarter. Which one should we?
Which one should we do?
Yeah, exactly. You know, sort of, do more with less.
Yep.
You know, and, there was a session this morning. It might have been Troy, I think, sort of saying that we've been doing that for so long. There's no
less.
There's no
less
less,
now.
we
there's
can't
no
get
fat in
any
that
less,
system anymore.
But when you get to the point that there's no less, you really have to work smart.
Yeah.
And that's where automation and ability to do automated deployments and streamline change processes really help you do more with less.
And that's where he was coming from, talking about obviously bringing the lean thinking in.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
But that's the thing. It's like it's figuring out what not so much just the automation, but what are those things that you can are the norm. You know, get those those out of the machine, get them out of the sausage factory, and let's get into just okay, what do we really need to actually apply our energy and our intelligence to? And the other stuff, okay, and we know there's going to be hiccups and burps along the way, but let's focus our energies and all these this intellectual power that we have on the stuff that we should, not on just.
But is it that people are struggling to find the time to have that
Oh yeah,
conversation?
yeah. There's no
And
pause.
you've just got to get that little bit of a wedge in.
Yep.
And get a couple of runs on the board to get you.
I've got no time. The old, I don't have time to to do it right, so I'm going to do it 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just it doesn't.
And if you have a process that requires 5 other people to look at something before it comes back to you, that gives you 5 other people's time to sit back and say, phew, I can do something else. So those processes can be a little bit of a buffer.
Well, that's why I look for what's the right size.
Yes,
there's some very large initiatives that require the right due diligence.
Yes.
You've got knowledge transfer that needs to
definitely.
happen. You may have skill sets you need to address. And then you have the small routine items that need to go.
You need fit for purpose. It has to be do the right job at the right time.
Common sense again.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about common sense and how uncommon it actually is.
Well, and it's not just change, right?
No,
no,
it's
no.
change.
Across
It's
the board,
everything.
yeah.
It's everything.
And I think you're talking fit for purpose. It's understanding what the purpose is, and that goes right back to
To understanding the
understanding
business itself.
talking to the business. And we're probably starting to sound like broken records these days, but it is still so true. Because I think, as you were saying earlier, that it's easier sometimes just to actually you know what you can manage.
Yeah.
And so we'll just
I know I can get this
concentrate
done. If I just plow forward, I can get it done. It'll be done in 5 minutes, and that's it. Or I can spend 15, bringing this one up to speed.
Yeah.
But not looking at the fact that I do this 10 times a week, week
If
over
I
week.
teach someone else, or if we find out what the underlying problem is, then I'm not going to have to do it.
Exactly.
If I document it, then the service desk is going to solve it as soon as it's picked up. Or, maybe even the customer can fix it themselves.
Yeah.
If
If
they've
no
got
way.
the knowledge base.
If you could just automate
Yeah.
it, maybe the customer could do it themselves, or
That's-
not even
that's
have
right.
to do it themselves.
Sometimes the
Exactly.
lazy attitude is actually the smarter thing.
It actually,
exactly.
it actually makes you work a lot harder.
You teach a man to fish, so he can sit in a boat drinking beer all day.
And on that note,
Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Tristan. You're being a real Kiwi now.
Oh, I know.
well, thank you, Phyllis, for joining us. As Tristan said, it's like we've been speaking online for years, but it seems like we keep on missing you on our little chat here. So thanks for coming.
And I'd just like to say,
tried.
and thank you too for some of the great content you let us put on All Things ITSM that you write. It's some really good stuff there from you.
Well, look forward to more.
Yeah, we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thanks.